Okay, this is another example regarding phase and vertical shifts, and we're going to incorporate again amplitude and period into that as well. So let's take a look at this one. This is a tangent function, and when we start out with this, let's go to maybe this. Remember, this is our a value, but with tangent, our amplitude is undefined, and that's going to stay the same. Our a value will impact where some of the points go for tangent, but for amplitude, that's still going to remain undefined. Our period with tangent is pi. Our b there is a half, so pi divided by a half, that gives us 2 pi. Okay, and then zoom in here a little bit, and then this is our phase shift. It says plus pi over 4. That means, remember, opposite of what you think, so it's going to move it left pi over 4 units. And then this is our k value. That's a vertical shift. It says -3, so that's down 3 units. And that would make our midline y equals -3. All right, so when we do these kind of problems, I like to start by writing my midline, which will be like my new x-axis. So it says y equals -3, so I'm going to draw that in here. Okay. All right, so this is, again, my new x-axis, sort of, and we're going to use this to kind of help us out. All right, so our period, the amplitude will kind of come back to. The period is 2 pi. Remember, tangent is one of the ones that the y-axis splits the period in half. So normally, we would have our first asymptote line. For this one, it would be at pi and -pi. I'm kind of just sketching these in here because we're going to actually have to change that here in a second. Now you'll notice that if you add pi and -pi, or pi distance on both sides there, you get 2 pi. So that period should work out. So let's just kind of put a couple of points in here as well before we start moving stuff around. So let's go with some blue. Now normally we would have a dot here at 0, 0. Okay, and then halfway in between that and pi, we should be at 1 usually, but my a value is now 2, so I would normally have, something 2 units up, not 1 unit up. And then if we go the other way, because of the a, this would usually be down 1 unit, but we're going to be down 2 now, so that would be something like right there. Now, before I actually draw this graph, I have to remember this whole thing has been shifted left pi over 4 units. Now, on our graph, that is just pi over 4 is just 1 square. So really what we want to do is make everything move over 1 square. So my asymptote lines, let's start with that. This asymptote line now is going to change and go back 1. Okay, and same thing with this one right here. Okay, so now just so it's not super confusing, you want to get rid of that other one. Okay, so now by the same token, I also want to take these dots and move these also back 1 square. So I'm going to take this first blue dot and make the next one, and then this other blue dot, and this one. Okay, So now I want to erase the other stuff that I got here. Okay, so now I'm going to sketch in my Now I want to try to fill out, remember you want to try to fill out the graphs, and we can see here in between, right in the middle is 4 squares away from the asymptote. So you can see that right here, this distance here is 4 squares away. So I want to do the same thing right here, is put a dot on what would be 0 kinda, right here. Sort of there, all right? And then 2 squares over from that and 2 up, I should have another dot. Let's see, there we go. And another one right here. And then I want to sketch what I can. And then the same thing back this way. All right, and so there is that graph. There's kind of a lot going on with these, but take your time and you should be okay. All right, so I hope that helps.